In a dark jungle at night, a group of people are tied up with ropes. In front of them, a scary clown with a creepy painted smile is cutting open a girl who's tied to a table. Who are these helpless people? And who is this terrifying clown? Let's go back and see how this all began. The story starts with a boy named Charlie, who is learning magic tricks from his grandfather, but he keeps messing them up, which makes his grandfather angry. When Charlie tries a trick called abracadabra on a balloon, it accidentally flies and hits his grandfather on the head. Furious, his grandfather yells that Charlie will never be a good magician and says he'd be better off as a clown. Charlie gets upset and rips a napkin in half while letting out a strange, creepy laugh. Then he falls asleep and has a nightmare. In the dream, Charlie is on a road trip with his parents. He's excited to show his dad a magic trick, but his dad brushes him off. His mom steps in, saying his dad is always mean to Charlie. They argue, and finally his mom lets him do the trick. As soon as Charlie says abracadabra and performs the trick on a balloon, the car crashes, and both of his parents die. Charlie wakes up from a painful memory, holding a precious photo of his family. He hugs it tightly and falls back asleep. The next morning, Charlie is walking along the road when he meets Susie, a kind girl who actually likes him. As they talk, a boy named Mikey shows up, grabs Charlie's hat, and walks off with it. Susie picks up the hat and gives it back to Charlie. Mikey then starts picking on Charlie, calling him a parent's killer and saying one day he'll hurt Susie too. Then Mikey runs off, leaving Charlie upset. Susie tries to calm him down, saying Mikey is just jealous of his magic tricks. Later, Susie and her mom visit Charlie's house. That night, Charlie and Susie are inside a small toy house with a soft, dim light. Charlie tries to perform his abracadabra balloon trick again, and this time Susie smiles. She likes it, but then they hear slow footsteps. They think it's just Charlie's grandpa and ignore it. Suddenly, the toy house door creaks open. Charlie looks up and sees a creepy joker crawling behind Susie. He freezes. Shocked, Charlie drops his cards. One card flies and cuts Susie's cheek. She starts bleeding, cries out, and runs away in fear. Charlie, panicked, chases after her. They're both running when Susie trips and falls. Just then, Charlie's grandpa shows up and yells at him. Feeling ashamed and scared, Charlie runs out of the house. Outside, Mikey is hiding. As Charlie runs past, Mikey trips him and starts bullying him again, calling him a parent's killer. Charlie stands up, filled with rage, but Mikey pushes him down again. This time, Charlie grabs a stone nearby and hits Mikey with it. Mikey falls to the ground. Charlie keeps hitting him, laughing in a wild, creepy way. Afterward, he runs into the jungle, overwhelmed, and eventually collapses. The scene shifts. Now we see a strange, dark room filled with circus props, old newspapers, and clown decorations. In the middle of it all sits a clown, calmly drawing a picture of himself. But who is this clown? That's a mystery yet to be revealed. The story then moves to a young couple walking into the forest for a picnic. At first, everything seems peaceful and happy, but there's an eerie sense that someone is watching them from the shadows. The couple heads back to their home. We learn this couple is Susie and Mike, Charlie's old friends. Later that night, Susie is resting on the bed while Mike looks out the window. Suddenly, he sees a clown standing still in the jungle, watching their house. But when Susie gets up to check, the figure is gone. Was it just Mike's imagination or something more? Back in the jungle, the clown hides behind the trees, then runs off when he notices someone nearby. The next day, Susie and Mike enter the jungle. While walking, Susie finds an old diary lying in the bushes. Mike tells Susie that the jungle area is known for attracting writers, so the diary they found might belong to one of them. As they leave the jungle, they run into two friendly guys. One of them compliments Mike's shirt, sparking a conversation. They introduce themselves as Blake and Jack, a couple. The group chats for a bit, and they all agree to hang out again the next day. What they don't know is that a clown is hiding nearby, secretly watching and listening to everything. That night, Susie has a strange dream. In it, she's wandering through the jungle, calling out for Charlie. Suddenly, a horrifying clown appears in front of her, making her scream and wake up in terror. The next morning, Susie wakes up to see Mike outside, recording a workout video. She smiles, watching him from the window. Then she picks up the old diary again. As she reads, it mentions a creepy clown figure that lurks in the jungle. The writer warns that people who come to this place are never truly alone. Someone with a painted smile is always watching. Disturbed by what she reads, Susie shuts the diary and walks over to talk to Mike. Later, Susie and Mike meet up with Blake and Jack again, this time in a dressing room. Susie tells them that Mike saw a clown in the jungle, but Blake and Jack say they haven't seen anyone strange. They all decide to go for a picnic. In the next scene, they're outdoors, enjoying food and chatting. They're joined by two more friends, Alice and Tom. During the conversation, Susie brings up a memory from her childhood. She explains that once Charlie tried to do a magic trick, but it went wrong, and she ended up falling down the stairs. Charlie thought she had died, Scared and panicked, he ran into the jungle, and no one ever saw him again. Since then, many people have blamed Susie for Charlie's disappearance. As the group continues chatting, Tom gets up and walks alone into the jungle. He feels like someone is following him. He turns around, nothing. But then suddenly a clown appears right beside him. The clown looks eerie and unsettling. He tells Tom he wants to show him some magic tricks. Tom refuses and tries to push the clown away. He starts walking back, but the clown appears again in front of him, this time holding out a flower. Tom tries to push him again, but the clown's face twists with rage. Suddenly, the clown attacks Tom's legs. Tom screams in pain. Back at the picnic, his friends hear the scream, but assume he's just playing around, so they ignore it. Deep in the jungle, the clown pins Tom to the ground, leaning over him so he can't escape. Tom screams again, his voice echoing through the trees. Back at the picnic, Alice and the others hear the scream and quickly rush toward the jungle. Meanwhile, the clown sits on top of Tom and pulls out a sharp scalpel. With a twisted grin, he gouges out Tom's eyes. Tom's screams are horrifying. The clown laughs wildly, thrilled with what he's done, and begins dancing around the jungle in madness and joy. Alice and the others search through the trees but find no sign of Tom. Then Alice notices blood on the ground and quickly calls the group over. Everyone gathers, staring in shock. The sight of blood makes them all uneasy. Alice tries calling Tom's phone, but there's no response. The call doesn't even go through. To cover more ground, the group splits up. Mike, Blake, and Jack head in one direction. Alice and Susie go the other way, hoping someone might spot Tom. No one knows where Tom is or the horror he's enduring. Later, Alice and Susie return home. Susie hands Alice her phone and tells her to try calling Tom again. This time the call connects, but instead of Tom's voice, they hear haunting circus music playing from the other end. Chilled, Susie immediately tries to call Mike, but now the signal is gone. Mike and his friends are walking back through the jungle when they suddenly feel like someone is following them. They hope it's Tom, but then, out of nowhere, the clown jumps out and yells, "Boo!" Everyone screams and runs. The clown gives chase. Blake falls behind and the clown grabs him. But Blake fights back, breaks free, and manages to escape. Meanwhile, at home, Alice is crying. Susie sits beside her, trying to comfort her, saying they'll find Tom no matter what. Just then, Mike and the others rush in, breathless and panicked. They tell Alice and Susie about the clown. Everyone becomes silent, scared and unsure of what to do next. Suddenly, they hear Tom's voice calling out from the jungle. Alice jumps up and runs outside, following the sound. She finds Tom sitting alone among the trees, but when she sees his face, she freezes in horror. Tom's eyes are gone. His face is covered in blood. Alice starts screaming, crying as she runs to him. She yells into the jungle, challenging the clown to come out and face her. Blake and Jack, frightened, decide it's time to leave. They run to the car. Just then, the clown steps out from the shadows, holding a tree branch. He confronts everyone. Alice, shaking with rage, grabs a nearby piece of wood and swings it at the clown, knocking him to the ground. But instead of pain, the clown laughs maniacally. While the others are distracted, Blake and Jack get into the car and try to start it, but the clown sneaks inside through the back seat. Suddenly, he covers Jack's mouth, trying to choke him. Jack struggles. Blake fights to save him, pulling at the clown. Desperate, he grabs a spray can from the glove box and sprays it into the clown's face. The clown screeches and finally lets go, vanishing into the darkness. The rest of the group arrives at the car, just as Mike tries to start it, but the engine won't start. What will happen to them now? Will they ever escape the clown's madness? Let's find out. Everyone is inside the house, shaken and silent, when they suddenly hear that haunting voice again. They rush to the window and see the clown standing in the distance, waving eerily, holding Tom. Alice doesn't hesitate. She runs outside, screaming Tom's name. The others follow her, except Blake, who stays behind, holding a brush for protection, frozen with fear. In the jungle, Alice searches frantically for Tom, but instead of finding him, the clown appears from the shadows and strikes her with a stick. Alice falls to the ground, unconscious. The clown lets out another of his wild, disturbing laughs. Now the rest of the group searches for Alice, but as they move through the jungle, they trigger a trap, falling into a pit. Everything goes black. When they wake up, it's nighttime. Their feet are tied and they can't move. Panic sets in. They hear circus music playing. Then they see him, the clown, standing nearby, smiling with sick delight. Beside him is a tall figure, covered with a white sheet. The group watches in terror as the clown slowly removes the sheet. It's Alice. She's still alive, but she's tied up, her mouth taped shut, eyes filled with fear. The clown, now holding a huge knife, steps toward her, and then the horror begins. He cuts into Alice's stomach while she's still alive, showing no mercy. The group screams, tries to move, but their feet are tightly bound. They're helpless. As if it's a show, the clown pulls threads from Alice's body like a twisted magic trick and laughs like a madman. Blood pours out, and her screams are muffled. One by one, her friends break down, crying and screaming, unable to do anything but watch. Alice dies in agony, and the clown enjoys every moment of it. Morning comes. Back at the house, Blake is still asleep, unaware of what happened. Suddenly, the front door bursts open. Mike and the others rush in, breathless, broken. They tell Blake everything about Alice's death, the clown, the horror they witnessed. There's no time to waste. They grab their things and flee the house, desperate to escape this nightmare once and for all. Meanwhile, the clown is seen placing red clown noses on the dead bodies of Tom and Alice. He performs a balloon trick in front of them, just like the one Charlie tried at the start of the movie. Back in the jungle, everyone is running for their lives. Blake keeps falling behind because he's tired. At one point, he trips and falls into the mud. Instead of worrying about the danger, he tries to clean his face, though his life is clearly more important right now. The group takes a short break, trying to catch their breath. Suddenly, the clown appears from behind, grabs Susie, and vanishes with her. Panic sets in as the group searches for Susie, but then Blake disappears too. He had fallen behind again, and now he's gone. Jack notices and becomes worried. We then see the clown happily dancing and singing while holding an unconscious Blake. He tapes Blake's mouth shut and wakes him up. When Blake sees the clown, he's terrified. The clown is thrilled to see him afraid. The clown pulls out some knives from his sleeve and pretends to stab Blake, just missing him each time. It's all a twisted game to scare him. Nearby, Susie is unconscious, trapped in a netted bag. The clown leaves Blake and drags Susie away. In the jungle, Mike and Jack are still searching for both Blake and Susie, but the clown is watching them from the shadows. He takes Susie back to his creepy hideout and places her next to the dead bodies of Alice and Tom. He puts a clown nose on her and wakes her up. Susie screams when she sees the bodies and tries to escape, but the clown hits her, knocking her down. Back in the jungle, Blake finally reunites with Jack and Mike. Jack quickly starts untying Blake, but suddenly, the clown appears again. Mike charges at the clown, trying to catch him, but the clown slips away and performs his creepy balloon trick once more. Mike goes in to attack, but before he can reach him, the clown vanishes in a puff of smoke that covers Mike's face. Blake runs to help Mike, but in that moment, the clown sneaks up behind them and, in a horrifying instant, slashes Jack's neck. Jack is beheaded. Blake drops to his knees next to Jack's severed head, crying uncontrollably. The death of his partner is too much for him to bear. Meanwhile, in the clown's lair, Susie is tied to a chair. As she wakes up, she looks around the room, terrified. She struggles and manages to move her chair slowly across the floor toward a nearby table. On the table, she sees the clown's scattered belongings. With effort, Susie grabs a knife and carefully cuts through the ropes binding her. Once free, she searches through the clown's things and finds a pair of glasses. Charlie's glasses. Her hands tremble as she picks them up. Then she finds an old newspaper with a story about Charlie's disappearance. The memories flood in, and she's overwhelmed with emotion. Just then, the clown appears behind her. Susie quickly turns, knife in hand, and warns him to stay back. With tears in her eyes and anger in her voice, she demands, "Who are you? What did you do to Charlie?" The clown responds to Susie by performing the same balloon magic trick that Charlie once showed her. Then he reveals the truth. He is Charlie. Could this terrifying clown really be the same innocent Charlie from long ago? Susie is shocked. She tells him her full name, Susie Newton, Charlie's childhood friend. Charlie freezes. He's stunned, but confused. He says he thought Susie had died, which is why he ran away that day. He still can't believe it's really her. Susie explains that she never actually died. She only pretended because she didn't want to scare Charlie. But Charlie keeps blaming himself, thinking everything that happened was his fault. Susie tells him how much she missed him and says she's sorry for what happened. Hearing this, Charlie finally breaks down in tears. Susie hugs him tightly, full of emotion. Just then, Mike bursts in and starts attacking the clown. Susie tries to stop him, yelling that it's Charlie, not a monster, but Mike doesn't listen. He keeps calling Charlie a psycho, just like he did when they were kids. Mike raises his hand to hurt Charlie again, but Susie pulls him away and drags him out of the room. Suddenly, we flash back to the past. Charlie is a young boy performing a magic trick for Susie. During the trick, Charlie sees a clown nearby. At the same moment, Susie falls down the stairs and pretends to be dead. Charlie, thinking it's real, panics and runs away. But what Charlie didn't know is that the clown saw everything and saw that Susie was only injured, not dead. The clown laughs and stands up. This reveals the shocking truth. The real killer clown isn't Charlie, but someone else who haunted him from the beginning. A camera zooms in on a clown mask. The scene shifts to a dark jungle at night, where Susie and Mike are running from the clown. They stop to catch their breath, but the clown appears behind them and attacks. He stabs Mike while Susie tries to stop him. The clown punches Susie, knocking her down, and then kills Mike. As the clown approaches Susie with a knife, Blake arrives just in time and beats the clown with a stick. He grabs Susie and takes her away, though Susie doesn't want to leave Mike behind. As they escape, the clown and Mike's body vanish into the darkness. Later, Blake and Susie are walking along a road when a car pulls up. Inside are two clowns, one driving, the other holding balloons and a drink. They invite Blake and Susie to a party, but the terrified pair refuse. In the final scene, the clown places Mike's corpse next to the others, all wearing Joker noses. Jack's headless body is also among them. The clown steps forward, smiling, and begins his twisted show, marking the chilling end of the film.